Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Elusive Exclusive Book Society. Whoa. Stop. That's enough of that. As usual, there's Jake, Tim, Nick, but today we are joined by a very special guest, Richard from Vintage SF. And I'm sorry, I'd already used the one lone applause button I had.
Allotted applause. Yeah.
Sorry, Richard, you missed out on it. I used
there
it
you go,
on
Richard. I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Jake's a jerk.
I do feel like, Richard, I owe you an apology. Well, not an apology, but an explanation, because I'm sure you've heard about what all the kids are saying, and I want to tell you that I didn't start it. Okay, have you heard? You haven't heard what? Okay, maybe it's because I do have my ear to the ground to the Gen Zers, but all the kids are calling you. Again, I didn't start this, but they're all calling you Vintage Richard. Like it, and I'm just letting you know.
Vintage.
I'm a good vintage. I've been telling him not to stop doing it, but and so going forward, I'm using my influence with the Gen Zers because it's all the kids, I'm using my influence to so now they're all calling you not Vintage SF, but Vintage AF, which is a lot cooler, which is infinitely cooler. I'm so stupid. How's it going? Oh, we got the omnivorous reader in the chat. Hello, Deb. We were going to have her on today. Today we are talking about the Parasaurians. Unfortunately, once we announced this, it disappeared. It disappeared off the internet. If you guys look right now, I found one hardcover going for like $300. So sorry, Deb. So she got on. She's like, I can't find it anywhere, and it's very. The one I have found was very expensive, and so
it was tough. I think mine was about $20 after you had announced it. I was really lucky to find it.
Yeah, and so sorry. We'll definitely get Deb on again. Sorry, Deb. Hey, Jeff, what's going on?
Hey,
Jeff just started a channel not too long ago. It's really good.
That man has so many books. Awesome.
He's another former Washingtonian, so we're practically neighbors. Anyways, the Parasaurians. We're talking about the Parasaurians. Is a book by Robert Wells, or Frank Charles Robert Wells. He's a UK author, and that's kind of all we know about him. There's not a whole lot on there. He only did a handful of books, and he died. And apparently, we have a birth and a death date, but it's not really confirmed either. I do have to ask Richard. I've already talked to the other guys. Did your copy fall apart as well?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I need to glue it together, but it's not coming apart as in the pages.
Whoa.
Just from the spine.
Yeah, it's more intact than the rest of us.
Yeah, Nick's already fixed his. I was waiting. My glue didn't show up today. I ordered some book glue. And the few reviews that are online, same thing happened. They crumbled. And so this was 1969 was a bad year for Berkeley.
Yeah. It was crazy. I got like halfway through this book, and then as I'm turning the pages are falling out. Like for every page I turn, one page falls out on the floor. I'm like, this book doesn't want to be read anymore.
Mine stuck together, but it just came out as one piece.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like it just separated from the cover.
Wild. So yeah, if you do find this somewhere in the wild, be careful with it.
Yes.
Make sure it has all its pages.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. All right. So I'm going to read the back, and then we'll just because the back kind of sums it up nicely. And then we'll start talking about it. Mega Hunt chartered. For a select few, it offered a dangerous vacation from a too-safe world of the 22nd century. A chance to hunt fantastically real robot analogs of the giant dinosaurs who ruled the earth in mindless grandeur for 1,000,000 centuries. I don't know if it was that long, but they were there for a while. Ross Fletcher could afford Mega Hunt's price and welcomed the challenge and peril for hunting the Parasaurians. But the safari suddenly changed character, with Fletcher and his companions becoming the quarry, pursued by a hunter more deadly than any monster from the past. Man. That's it. I think Richard just treats his books bad. You're right, 100%.
That's fair.
Oh, I wonder if you're right, Goblin. Okay, so maybe we'll talk about the first of all. I
You know
wanna
what?
get into-
Before we
oh,
get
go
too
ahead.
far, I know you guys are into merchandise. So I was thinking about Jake, and I was imagining T-Rex chasing Jake. And you know, you hear that.
Why would you be
Wilhelm
imagining that?
scream. I think it's like this. I don't know if you guys could hear that on my mic, but it's like ah, and then here's Jake.
What? Hold on, let me get you full screen here. Wait.
I guess you took a big step. Fortunately, your moneymaker, your face survived.
Well, it looks
But
thin.
this is a bookmark, they used to call them. I'll just put him underneath Alistair Reynolds here. He's a pretty big guy, like a dinosaur there too. And I just thought, for the fun of it, might as well
Oh, no.
take that sort of bug-eyed Jake look and prop it on
That
here.
looks hand drawn.
Finally.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at it.
And I was thinking, man, if I had the time, I was trying to get a dinosaur too and get, you know, Tim's face on there for that revenge factor.
Just for that, I'm sending you some Tim stickers.
Oh, awesome. I didn't make any Jake stickers. I don't have the budget, you know, that Pulp Mortem does.
Oh yeah, I'm rolling. Well,
High class establishment, that Pulp Mortem.
all right, I will spare one more applause. Oh, just the remainder of that one. We spared no expense here.
Yeah, I like that. I think we'll call it Squashed Jake. That's a good one.
You're finally thin, Jake.
Hey, I'm working on it.
That's not the way to lose weight.
I
Anyway,
can make
hey,
that joke. I'm fat too.
this is a serious book club, you guys, and knock it off.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Okay, so maybe before we get too deep into breaking it down, let's talk about your initial impressions of this book. Before, Tim, we know you hated it. Okay, cool
I
it.
didn't say that.
All right, let's talk about your initial impressions of this book.
I'm not going first. Jake doesn't want me to.
I don't want you to go first. Somebody else go first. Blue strip.
Well, I'll start off here.
Yeah.
All right.
As I got into it, I liked the setup. I liked getting out to, we're going to be getting to an island. And I thought that there was more of a almost old time thriller element to this than science fiction, really. In fact, I kind of felt like this novel could have taken place in almost any time period, depending on how you would frame the dinosaurs. We know that people like Edgar Rice Burroughs or Arthur Conan Doyle had these hidden islands or plateaus that had dinosaurs on there.
Yeah.
Almost felt like that could have even been a setting too. But that is a science fiction element in here. I was along for the ride. I had a good time with it.
All right. Initially, Nick, how are you feeling about this? Then I'll go. Then Tim can talk.
I didn't read the synopsis. I had no idea. I was just like, this is a dinosaur book. And I started reading it and I was like, this fool just sent me. It's having me read a big game hunter book.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. They're robot dinosaurs. It's fine.
They're just robots. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, all the stuff at the beginning, how he's crying that he can't kill real panthers. It was my Death World 2, I guess, to you guys.
Yeah.
Wait, Death World 2 wasn't your Death World 2?
No. But yeah, all I don't know. All I could do was just make the comparison to Jurassic Park, man. It was so unbelievably Jurassic Park.
Mm,
And that's on
Yes.
Crichton.
yeah.
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 Like the part where the he's handpicked, he's hand selected to go to this island with the dinosaurs, and I basically buy the John Hammond character, like the creator of the
Mhm.
robots. I mean, I don't want to go too far into all the Jurassic Parkness, but I was like, this is insanely Jurassic Park.
Very, very similar. Also very similar to Westworld, which was a screenplay written by Michael Crichton. Came out a year or two later. And so, oh, he's late. No, you're not late. We haven't even started yet. Richard's been showing us horrible pictures of me that he's, I don't know what I do. I don't even deserve any of this. Messed up. I had the same initial thought. I was like, oh, this reads very similar initially to Jurassic Park. Maybe a little bit of Squid Game too in there, with kind of like the being selected to the super secret, like the handpicked, because our character was Ross Fletcher was handpicked because of, this is not just anyone. This organization is super secret. It's for reasons. Hey, howdy, burn enough. So initially I was very interested. Now I will say this novel, and in the beginning in particular, it's not in a hurry to go anywhere. It takes its time. I wasn't bored. Maybe you guys, your mileage may vary. I wasn't bored, but we were not in a hurry to get anywhere. And so, I'm like halfway through the book and we're like, okay, we're still kind of setting things up here. When are people going to start getting eaten by robot dinosaurs? Tim, what were your initial thoughts?
So my initial thoughts, much like I think everybody who picked this book up, was it's Westworld meets Jurassic Park, which is funny because this book came out before either of those. Westworld was 1973, Jurassic Park was 1990. This book came out in 1969, so it's well before either of those. And like Nick was saying, it's like just overwhelmingly, this is kind of the same setup as Jurassic Park. But it quickly, I don't know, when it first gets started out with its our main character Ross Fletcher in his house, and they're talking about like robot servants and how he's what's called a rejuve, where like older people can have this surgery where their bodies are literally rejuvenated so that they're younger again. Their bodies are still reproducing cells. They're still, functioning as if they were, in their 30s essentially.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this is some kind of like maybe like premature cyberpunk-esque kind of stuff. I don't know. I got a little tiny bit of a Philip K. Dick vibe going into that beginning, and so I was like, okay, I'm enjoying that part. But once it got into actually going to the island, something happened, and I'm just like, these are our only. We have 4 characters, and that's all we're sticking with for the rest of the story. And I wasn't all that interested in any of them, unfortunately. So I don't know. It was just kind of a slog from that point on for me personally. But there were elements that I did like. Like I said, I liked how this was kind of like I guess you could say like an early attempt at like something similar to a cyberpunk novel, or like I said, it has a kind of Philip K. Dick vibe to it almost.
One of the things about the characters in there, one is just, he loves the girl. He just wants to impress her and be with her.
Mm-hmm.
But the other 3, they're all super suspicious of each other. Yeah. So it's that type of a novel where you're wondering what's the subterfuge going on here? What's really happening? What's the motivation of each of these characters? And that was a real big chunk of the novel, is trying to figure those questions out.
Yes. Well, we can get into the characters then before we then talk about the initial mystery, because I actually really enjoyed the characters, because it seemed like they all had, like you said, there's something going on here, that they're all on different takes. And even Niles Bodie, the old man, the old doctor. Oh, he was my favorite because he's just this crack shot hunter, but he's also like super crazy. I could not like. I don't know if you guys have seen Squid Game. He was the old man in Squid Game. That was based on. It was like practically based off of this character. Just that kind of ridiculous guy. I don't know. It was just. It was really really. I like the personally. I really enjoyed the characters.
I did too, and I think I agree. I like the doctor the best, and I also thought that he was the voice of the reader at the beginning, where he's like, "Can we just get to it? Can we please? Can we please
shoot some
just
robots
get to
already?"
it?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Liminal Spaces says, I almost said besotted. He's right. I'm that old.
Besotted. What's besotted mean? I don't even know what that means. Did I miss something?
Has a crush on the girl.
It's like smitten.
Yes. Yeah.
Bespotted. Besotted. Not
Yes.
Is that?
I'm sure
I've never heard that. I'm looking that up right now.
I'm sure Liminal will correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Right. All right. So the initial mystery. You guys, what do you think of the initial mystery? Because honestly, we're on this island. They're kind of giving them a tour, and it is kind of, it's very similar to Jurassic Park, where they're like, "Come on, we want to see the dinosaurs. We want it." They're like breaking. You know, they don't want to. They're not that all that interested in all the attractions and all the behind the scenes. They want to see the dinosaurs, and we're kind of at that same point in this book where he's flown to the island. It's all going through this training, going through all this stuff. And the whole time there's kind of this building frustration, like, okay, we want to see, and I don't know. What do you guys think of the initial mystery, or I guess if there was any?
I think I'd back up a little bit to even just how he got there. There's a sort of a special selection process, and you had to have at least $1 million to be able to go. And so he is given sort of an invitation, almost a Willy Wonka golden ticket. They ask to turn in, and they're kind of hiding where this actual office is, and he has to get led there by another old man who was standing on the side at the address he came to. And so it's all kind of hidden like this. And when he's in there, all of a sudden he sees, I don't know, like an IMAX 3D presentation of that's been filmed on the island of this T-Rex going crazy and rushing eventually right straight to the person who's viewing. And then it finishes. And at that point, he's sold. He wants to get there. He's a big time gun enthusiast, marksman. He thinks he's like one of the best marksmen out there. And so he's sold. And so then eventually he has to go to the airport and meet a couple of the characters on their way on a small plane out to where they're going to be going.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of cloak and dagger type stuff in the beginning, and very, very mysterious characters, mostly almost 100% characters focused.
There are shockingly few dinosaurs in the book about robot dinosaurs.
Did you like how they call the T-Rexes Tyros?
Yeah. Why?
I didn't get that one.
Richard, have you read anything by Robert Wells?
No. I did pick up another book by him, but I haven't read it.
We do get some chomping action. Which we'll get to that, Tim. But I read Candle in the Sun, which was one of my favorite books last year that I read and reviewed on my channel. And that one is very, very trippy. He very because it's an unreliable narrator who's actually going crazy, and there's lots of drugs, lots of hallucinogenics. But not just that, the structure of the book is just bananas. It's crazy. And so I didn't know what to expect going into this, and it's a much more linear story, but also he kind of is what I'm learning is he's a writer that kind of just, I think I'm gonna do what I want. That's what I get anyways. Okay, what do you guys think of? Maybe that's a good segue. We can dive back into the story in a second, but what do you guys think of Robert Wells in his writing, his prose? What,
that's
what
the
was
thing.
your feeling?
When I saw your Candle in the Sun review, I was like, okay, so whatever this book is, it's going to be some trippy stuff. And because the way you described Candle in the Sun was like you said, it's
You would like it, Chris.
Yeah, it's you're saying it's a non-linear structure almost. There's a lot of like psychedelic kind of things going on, and then I got into this book. I'm like, everything is very straightforward. Everything is relatively down to earth, even in this super advanced future that we're in. Things seem pretty normal, more or less.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have these people who can, reset their life to age 30, basically, when they get old enough to the point where they need it, or they think they need it at least. But I was like, okay, so where's the twist? Because I was expecting there to be, I was like, maybe when we get to the island, there's going to be some kind of shift where the plot just gets absolutely bananas, and that will, the writing style will then, complement that from there on. But it's fairly straightforward from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And the thing is, after I can pinpoint the exact moment in this book where it seems like Robert Wells realized, I have to finish this story. Because you get about, I think it's like page 155 where we'll get to that, but it's a point in the story where we have a bunch of elements about the whole mystery revealed to us. And at that point, it feels like he's just sprinting to the end of the story. It feels like he had his outline open. He got 10, 15, 20,000 words in and realized, I'm nowhere close to the end of my outline. So we're just going to, Mr. Sulu, Warp Factor 9, we're just going to blast to the end of the story here. And so that seemed a little disjointed for me. And it didn't help much because at that point, I was, like I said, I was kind of slogging through this. But I really want to read Candle in the Sun because the way you described it, I was like, this sounds amazing. So I'm going to give him another shot. Just a strange comparison, I guess.
I thought the writing was fine. I didn't notice anything that was, I thought it was pretty average. It didn't go up or down. It wasn't good, bad. It didn't stand out, really.
Yeah, for Jeff.
And I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know what the book was about. I think that's what I liked about doing this group with you guys is they're like, hey, we're reading this. And I don't have to know anything about it. You can go in it blind. You don't have to pick it out at the bookstore. It's just like, we're reading this, and you just start reading. So it's fun. That I had no idea that there was supposed to be a mystery or what it was about at all. Yeah. So yeah, there was the intrigue at the beginning, right? And when he meets the characters, the Kit and Dr. Bodhi. And then there's the mysterious Sternius.
Their guide, yeah. Who is very mysterious.
Sorry, I just saw the No Tim Jr.
No Tim Jr. Jr.?
Am I not enough for you people?
We want the plushie. We want the plushie.
Yeah, because assured me he's working on a 2.0. We'll put it out there soon enough.
Twins.
Yeah, it was funny because it was like, is this book a mystery? Is this about robot dinosaurs? Is this going to be action? Are they ever going to see a dinosaur?
I thought it was very workmanlike. He just, he got his point A to point B to point C. He had his little touches here and there that he wanted to hit on. But the mystery of who these characters were or why they were suspicious of each other seemed to be the key element that he was trying to hit on throughout the novel. Yeah. I was actually kind of thinking of it as if they had tried to make Jurassic Park in 1969, this would be kind of like the TV script for it, where there's lots of things that happen, and then you have that little bit of stop animation dinosaur stuff going on at the end.
Right, like they couldn't afford the dinosaur. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. It is like that.
We got Harryhausen. Yeah.
Yeah, let's stretch these characters out further because we can only afford one dinosaur for 30 seconds.
we do see a triceratops. There's quite a few dinosaurs. They don't all have, that some are seen in the distance. There are a few of the hunting sequences which I thought were actually interesting.
Mhm.
Um,
Actually, there was a lot of detail about hunting in this book.
yeah, and
It's
strategy
definitely a
and
safari.
yeah. I've never been on safari, but this is what I would imagine it would be like. I don't know. Or
By the way,
with
Chris, you're wrong. Ankylosaurus is clearly the best dinosaur. It's got a hammer for a tail.
Oh, look at this hot take.
No
It's not even a
pterodactyls,
dinosaur.
Brian.
It's not even. It's just a bird.
It's a big bird.
You're wrong, Brian.
Now people are just naming off dinosaurs.
Yeah, I know.
We're
That's
gonna
what we
have a
must.
list from the book.
Like, there's no dinosaurs in the book. Check this out. Go to the
That's what we
comment
should be
section.
talking about.
This just turned into all the kids in the playground screaming about their favorite dinosaur.
There was now that there's something else that came in this book that I have down some page numbers where I made some notes. And one of the things is I was wondering for a second if one of these guys was an inventor like Richard Attenborough and was hiding in the group. Then I said, it's starting to have a King Kong feel as they enter the island and there's this king's son and temples and things like that. And they're getting lost out there.
Yeah.
That was strange, wasn't it? That was one of the few moments like when he got, so for those of you who don't know, he at one point Ross, because they're looking, there's like all these temples on this strange island. Excuse me, I'm drinking bubbly things for some reason on a live stream like an idiot. But they're doing this they're on this island and there was a former, I forget what race it was on the you guys did it say? Anyway, there's some ancient cultures where they have temples and where they would worship sun gods or the sun god. And he sneaks off at night, and Sternius, their guide, is very strict, very suspicious, but very strict. Like, no, we have to go from here to here. And at one point, he just like, I'm going to sneak off and go. I paid $1 million for this. I'm going to go look at these ruins. And he ends up having kind of a weird experience, like the moonlight hit him, and I wasn't exactly sure what happened. Or did you guys have that same feeling?
It was like it
When
was
he's like
Indiana
starts
Jones then.
Yeah, but then he starts freaking out and having some kind of experience. And that part actually reminded me a lot of Candle in the Sun, which is like, I like what's happening. It's cool, but I'm not sure what's happening.
I thought he fell in a hole.
But he starts freaking out, right?
He fell into a hole, didn't he?
No, that's later. That's later when he and the girl are looking for
Bodhi?
they're trying to find the what were they looking for? They sneak away to look for something and they fall into a hole or a cave or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, she wanted them to go into the temple because she wanted to take photos.
The second time he sneaks off once. Yeah.
But they did,
And there's
they didn't fall into a hole, they found a snake. I thought the first one was hit by himself and he fell into a hole or something and he was like, help.
No,
I think what happened.
I think it was like he just wandered away. Well, that was what made it weird because I think it was just him wandering away from camp, and then he's describing like he's looking at these ruins and something like messes with his sense of equilibrium or his sense of direction or something, and he starts tripping.
Yeah.
And at that point, there's a Robert E. Howard story. Oh my gosh, Tim's talking about Robert E. Howard on a live stream. There's a Robert E. Howard story called The Black Stone where a character finds like this temple and has this kind of weird, similar experience and starts having like these visions or whatever. And at first I was like, okay, are we going for some weird tales, like H.P. Lovecraft horror kind of thing? But no, I'm not sure what that incident was about because it never really comes up again. So I have no idea what happened to it.
Yeah, it's strange.
I thought it was a dream sequence when I was first reading it. And I'm like you, I'm not exactly sure what he was shooting for there.
Wow, I took it so literal.
It could be, like I said, I have no idea what happened. So it could have been something that actually happened. He might have just been seeing things. It's not too clear on that point, but I don't know.
Yeah.
When he and Kit went together, that was definitely literal in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, the female's character name was Kit Namoya.
Kit Namoya. Yep.
Yeah. And it was Ross Fletcher. Here I made some notes. Dr. Niels Olaf Bodie was the guy who was like 120 years old and was a professor or a doctor or something. And then their guide, who maybe we should talk about how they met him or how this guy appears. His name is Sternius.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 4 characters.
Yeah, we can talk about Sternius. Or maybe we'll jump into here first. Do you guys think this book falls into the colonialist narrative? I don't think so.
I don't either.
No, not so much, because it's a theme safari for the most part. There is weird stuff that happens, and greater layers of intrigue, which we'll have a spoiler section later on. But no, it's not there's not that sense of wonder like they show us in the beginning. Not in the beginning, but in the introduction, they show us this is how we made these dinosaurs, even though the way they made these robot dinosaurs was weird, right?
Robot. I'm glad you did this, because it's kind of like part biological, yet there's some wiring in there that has a failsafe.
Yeah, it's like the weird, like it's like the replicants from Blade Runner, and there's like some biomachinery going on. They're kind of put together, but there's like some weird ceremony that's involved, like birthing these things. Essentially, it's kind of
breathing life into them.
Yeah,
very, very biblically. They're like, what's going on here? Is that symbolic? Exactly. Yeah.
A little bit of the Frankenstein feel.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
That describing part went on and on, huh? They were just, and I thought it was hilarious. They were like, it was so in detail how much work went into this, how much money, how much they cared about whether the toenails were real, right?
Yeah.
And then it was almost like an SNL skit or something. Like they set it up, and then they're like, "Wow, this is incredible! This science is incredible. What are you going to do with it? We're going to go out and shoot them. What do you guys spend all this money? We don't shoot them in the head. Stupid dinosaur."
And they had to make 3 spots that they could hit them. Like there's 3 target areas that they had to go for.
We're gonna shoot them. I was thinking of you the whole time, Nick, as I'm reading this. Just these hunters. Yeah. Let's create these dinosaurs and spend millions, and it's this beautiful ceremonious thing, and then just blast them.
Yeah. With elephant guns, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Poor Nick's crossing his heart, praying to vegan Jesus over here.
I don't know if we mentioned that old guy, Dr. Bodie, he was like a better shot than anybody else. It was amazing. He looked like he was unfit and like an old fat guy.
Yeah.
But put a rifle in his hand and he could outshoot all of them.
Well, they mentioned that he has the appearance of someone who's been through like multiple of these rejuve surgeries. So, and like he's somewhere close to like 120 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when they show that he's like this crack shot and he nails all of the weak points on these dinosaurs, I was like, is this coming back in some way? Are they trying to tip us off to something? So that was another thing that I kind of liked. I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. At that point, again, he is kind of the voice of the audience saying, can we just hurry up and shoot these dinosaurs already?
And the protagonist, Ross Fletcher, then all of a sudden goes, oh, I guess I'm not that good, or I'm not as good as this guy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, our main character's name is Ross Fletcher. For some reason, I kept thinking him as, picturing him in my mind as Chevy Chase playing Fletch from Fletch.
I knew you were going to say that.
I couldn't get it out. Like
Chevy Chase.
Love your body, Larry.
That could have been a good movie.
Chevy Chase running around
the dinosaur.
Yeah.
I'd watch this. Yeah. Only to see Chevy Chase. Yeah, get stuck in a hole and scream. All right. So initially, Kit Namoya doesn't trust Ross Fletcher, but then she begins to trust him. And she is not a hunter. She is their primary photographer and videographer that this company keeps hiring to go out and for promotional materials. And they bring her out because they have just unleashed this new Stegosaurus, right? But she suspects that Sternius in the past had, some weird things happen. And she's like, I actually think that they tried to, or he tried to kill me, that, or maybe set me up or didn't save me, or just weird things. So she's always, Kit's always very concerned. And then like Sternius,
because when the event happens, when that one Tyrannosaurus almost kills her, not only does he disable this thing, he shoots it in a way so that it cannot be repaired.
Yes.
And that film that we talked about at the very beginning of the Tyrannosaurus rushing the guy in the office in that 3D film.
Yeah,
she's the one who was taking that film or creating that film. So she's the one that dinosaur was rushing at.
Yeah. Yeah. And which was a Tyrannosaurus Rex and our buddy here on the cover, which is the best dinosaur. Stop being silly with all you guys like Triceratops, something with stumpy leg. Triceratops are cool.
Jake, anything with vestigial arms doesn't get to be the best dinosaur. I'm sorry.
It does when you can swallow a Volkswagen or a Prius. Whatever.
It doesn't have a hammer on its tail.
What did you play with as a kid when you had your Schleck dinosaurs? What did you play with?
Ankylosaurus every time.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Here,
it has a hammer on its tail, Jake.
So you can hurt his ankles.
We were too poor to have toys. I played with plasticine and made things.
Oh, get out of here.
Richard was best friends with Harryhausen.
Yeah, there we go. A little bit of stop motion with no camera.
Another Triceratops. You're all so wrong. Thing is, I started, I still have some of my Schleck dinosaurs when I was a kid because they last forever. I don't know what type of plastic they're made of, so I buy some for my kids now, and they're like bloody expensive.
By the way, Fire Ant said about Ray Bradbury's story, definitely there's a sense of a sound of thunder in here, as well as L. Sprague de Camp had a hunting dinosaurs story too.
Yes.
Those both definitely were influences, I think, for Robert Wells.
You know what I don't like about Triceratops is because we're going to talk about Triceratops.
Tell us, please. Tell us.
Here's what they're the mean ones from Land Before Time.
That's why people like them. Yeah. What I don't like about them is there's so many different variations. That this one has 10 horns. This one has spikes. This one's got 1. This one's got. They never look the same. Every time you get a book that has
dinosaurs, though.
But why do they all look the same? I don't think they're different dinosaurs. I think paleontologists screwed up and been like, oh, this one goes here and these ones go here and this one. I think paleontologists were just screwing with us. That's what I think.
Thank you, Levi.
My favorite dinosaur is Richard.
Oh, man.
J.K. Richard. He's not.
I'm not taking this seriously.
Yeah. You got a face shield? Shut up with your face shield, Triceratops.
He makes a point, though.
That's true. Another Triceratops. Get out of here. What's wrong? Am I taking crazy pills? How are they the best?
Well, the one that they were really searching for was, what was it, Stegosaurus? They had made a brand new Stegosaurus that she was supposed to film.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point of the safari.
Get us back on track.
Yeah.
I would accept Stegosaurus as a correct answer because they're awesome. Anyway, the Stegosaurus that they're going to film. So she's actually not a hunter.
No. Hold on. Stegosaurus is awesome, but Ankylosaurus isn't.
Have you looked at a Stegosaurus?
It's just as cool as the Ankylosaurus. It has spikes on its tail instead of the hammer, though.
Yeah. Spikes are better than a hammer.
Not if you want blunt force damage.
You don't. You want to stab dinosaurs to kill them.
No, because some of them have really hard scales. You got to break the bones underneath. You can't puncture the flesh.
Sounds like we need to have a tournament of fighting dinosaurs.
Plus,
no,
Stegosaurus.
Look, I've played Dungeons and Dragons, Jake. you have to use blunt damage in order to damage certain dinosaurs. Okay.
But Stegosaurs are huge. And listen, they're Robert Wells' favorite dinosaur too. The way I wish I should have saved it. The way he described them, Oh, he was
Yep.
going off. Like he called them, what do you say? Like almost cathedral like with their
Yeah.
the way they're built. Oh, it's beautiful.
Tyrannosaurus is the normie dinosaur. It's the one that everybody likes. It's if it was a Pokemon, it would be Charmander.
Did you say normie? Stegosauruses are not normie dinosaurs. Oh, that hurts my feelings. No, stupid brontosauruses are normie dinosaurs.
Brontosauruses aren't real.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that was a test.
It's called Diplodocus. Okay.
Well, you guys know a lot about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I was never into dinosaurs. Everything I know is from Jurassic Park.
Dinosaurs.
Some of the stop motion dinosaurs from the 1930s. I love those. Like that King Kong movie with from 1933. Some great stuff in there.
A great sequence.
Yeah.
I need to watch King Kong again.
In fact, I think there was a Stegosaurus in King Kong.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There's Stegosaurus in the Lost World. Which, unfortunately, the biggest disappointment of that's one of the biggest disappointments of my life watching that movie and realizing it is nothing at all like the book. Have you read the book, The Lost World?
I have.
It's awesome.
It is.
And then you watch the movie and you're like, what? This is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a third one where there's talking raptors?
Oh. No.
There was a pterodactyl one too. Whatever one that was.
The Valley of Gwangi is awesome. All right. Back on track. Back on track. Stop talking about dinosaurs. Stegosaurus rule. Stop talking about dinosaurs.
Are you on Team Stegosaur or on Team Tyrannosaur? Make a choice.
I can like them both. I'm just not going to say that a Triceratops is the best. Like all you people. Don't worry, guys. I'll split it. We'll split it 4 ways. We're good.
Split it 4 ways. Yeah. Yes, I made a easy 50 cents tonight.
On my way to one of those dinosaur toys.
Yeah.
All right. So Kit Namoya, she's a photographer. She thinks she's trying to be set up by Sternius, but also Sternius has approached Bodhi and our main character Fletcher, saying like, "Hey, keep an eye on her. She's not all that she's." Anyway, who knew this would be such a yeah. Anyway,
listen, Chris, dinosaurs are serious business, okay?
Serious business.
I love how there's no dinosaurs in the book, and there's all we're talking about is dinosaurs.
Oh, speaking of Crichton, has anybody read Dragon Teeth?
No.
Nobody's read Dragon Teeth. Nobody I've talked to, because I think it was one of the books that either the last one he did before Crichton died, or it was he had a bunch of manuscripts, and maybe it was one that was written posthumously. It's legitimately awesome. Nobody's read it that I could talk to. Nobody's read Dragon Teeth, and it's legitimately cool. It's about we should have read that instead. But
I've actually never read any Michael Crichton, so
really,
I know.
Oh, he's one of my favorite authors.
I should read Jurassic Park.
He's one of those. Well, he is a bestseller author. Just smooth prose, real fast paced. It's always good, and some scientific concept in there.
More than some. The bibliographies in the back of his books are massive because Michael Crichton was a legitimate genius. The Great Train Robbery is amazing. I have an original copy. It's so cool. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Michael Crichton is amazing. But did he copy this? Did he lift some inspiration from this book?
I have some thoughts on that, but we'll get to those.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody has lifted things in science fiction, it seems like.
That's what we're finding. Yeah.
Not me. My material is 100% original.
But it's so much in this, Richard. It's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. Yeah, the 13th or Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton.
Andromeda Strain is where I remember hearing about him first.
Yeah. All bangers. Pirate Latitudes is one of my all-time favorite books. Anybody read that one? It's awesome. It's everything that Pirates of the Caribbean wanted to be.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You're saying it's better than Curse of the Black Pearl?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, Pirate Latitudes is a phenomenal book.
better than Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that talk. Subpar Crichtonism. But anyway, we're not going to talk about. We can talk more about Crichton later. Let's talk about the actual book that we did read.
I was just wondering how old Levi was to have the Maltese Falcon as his icon.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really going off stream here. Jake, you want to get back on, okay?
No, who cares? Talk about you guys talk about whatever you want. I'm gonna go read some Michael Crichton. All right, so obviously there's some thing. I don't even remember what the heck I was talking about. What are we talking about? What do you guys want to talk about?
Kit Namoya.
Yeah, and how she they told her that they weren't supposed to trust her. And
yeah.
Basically, Sternius was trying to play everybody off of everybody.
Yes.
Also, we should mention that Sternius picked Dr. Bodie and Fletcher to be on his crew.
Yes.
That's right.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Yes, he learned that Kit Namoya was going to be in his team again, and so he specifically picked them to join her.
Because they're the best shots.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
Yes.
So they say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pulcho.
No
Don't
Pulcho.
distract Jake. It's bad enough.
Yeah, don't stop. I need to stop looking at the chat.
Stop looking at the chat.
All right, so I think we can start to. We're 47 minutes in. Maybe before we get into spoilers, we'll talk about spoilers. Maybe before we do, for people who might want this book or maybe have had it, because I know you guys bought the rest of them on the internet. So maybe if they haven't had a chance to finish, we could talk about recommendation. Would you guys recommend it, or your thoughts, and then we can dive into spoilers?
I think
you save that to the end.
It depends on what you're wanting.
Yeah.
Well, if you're wanting a crazy robot dinosaur adventure, then no, I would not recommend it.
But if you want like a legitimate mystery story that just so happens to take place on an island with robot dinosaurs in the background, then yeah, I could see this being your cup of tea.
But yeah, I wouldn't even call it a mystery necessarily. I think it's like Richard said, it's a thriller.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
An old time thriller in terms of, I mean, you guys read lots of pulp, and so it's got that pulp level of thriller in it. I would say it's sort of more to a mid-level, but competent in what it's doing. There was only 2 printings that I can see. This one and one in the UK.
Yeah.
I think that one was a hardcover. And so it's been out of print for what, 55 years?
Yeah.
So it's a hard one to find. You know what? Because of the influence for some other movies that we've been talking about, it might be interesting in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would echo all those. Yeah, it's worth picking up if you see it for cheap. It's not worth Deb. It's not worth $50 online, because I think even when I was sending you some, I think it was like this is the cheapest I can find it online. It's like $50. Yeah. It jacked up that much, and now it's just gone. And so it is not worth.
Absolutely.
It's not worth $50, but it is. I would say it is worth if you see it in the wild somewhere. Pick it up.
I paid $5 for mine.
You know, Jeff, you may be right.
You might be right.
Oh yeah.
Because if you combine Westworld, which came out a year or two after this, the screenplay did, and Jurassic Park, and mix those together and toss in a little pulpy thriller, yeah, you get this book, I think.
Did anyone look up and see if there is any documentation of this being an inspiration for Jurassic Park or anything? No.
There's just so little information on this author.
Yeah. There's 2 good read reviews of this book, and that's all the internet knows about it.
Yep.
And so,
was Wells alive when Jurassic Park came out?
He died in 19. Well, that's the thing, is like I found on his ISFDB that he died in 2021.
Oh,
but there's a poet called Robert Wells, and it's not the same Robert Wells. And so I don't, and there's also a popular musician, but like I don't trust that information just because I couldn't confirm it. Like if I was doing a review on this, one of my normal reviews, I wouldn't put that in there because I'm like, it's not confirmed. Nobody knows anything about this guy, and so he might have died in 2021, or that might have been the more popular poet who is not the same science fiction writer.
Because there's certainly been science fiction authors who've sued films for being too close to their stories,
Yeah.
and it almost makes you suspicious. I wonder if something happened under the table that we don't know about for this.
Right. Or they waited till the real Robert Wells died, and then they're like, now we can make Jurassic Park.
Yeah. We're spreading
Maybe.
conspiracy here now.
Yeah. Especially with the end spoiler. That was the kind of okay, that's this
That's
is
Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's kind of damning, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so I think we can lift the embargo on spoilers if we want to, and just get right into it. So something is happening with all the dinosaurs. Follow the dinosaurs, these robotic cyborg type dinosaurs. Hold on, not at all. The pros could not be more different. But all these dinosaurs act kind of their patterns. They follow a set program, except for the T-Rex or the Tyro. It continually acts strange. It's in places it's not supposed to be. It's hyper aggressive. It's attacking
Wildlife. Yeah.
It's attacking real wildlife, which they're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so all this weird stuff, and Sternius continually acts strange. In some ways it looks like he goes around to protect the T-Rex, and in other ways it's like he'll avoid it, and it's very confusing at the time, because you're like, what's going on with the relationship between Sternius and the Tyrannosaurus Rex?
And when the Tyrannosaurus Rex attacks wildlife, he actually puts it down, but he won't let the other people go close to it, even though these are supposed to be robots. It's kind of like, why are you keeping us from this T-Rex? And mysteriously, they have to move on.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is a foreshadowing that a lot of people can see coming now.
Yes, a little bit.
Teeny tiny bit.
He also wanted to keep them away from the what are they called? The
fence gate.
No,
The
the secret lab.
Oh, yeah. What was it called?
There was a peninsula or something that was a little bit further out that had a fence between it and this reserve area. Is that what you're looking at?
I was talking about where the Sun King stuff was.
Oh,
the little mountains, I guess they are.
Yeah.
Well,
so here's the thing, though. I was confused about that. I'm going to be like full transparency. There were parts of this book I skimmed. There are. I just at some points not like I was just like taking one glance at a page and flipping it, but I was reading as fast as possible. Like, I did not linger on any of these pages.
I'm typing up your pink slip right now.
Yeah, okay.
50-cent fine.
Go ahead, fire me. Fine. I'll start my own book club with blackjack. Anyway, so there were parts where I was just kind of my eyes were glazing over, and I was like, oh, okay, we need to get to the next part of this book. Were we to understand that there is a lab in one of these ancient ruins where he's just straight up breeding dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's supposed to be going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, and so like I guess, is he using this as like a cover essentially to breed his dinosaurs and be like, oh no, they're robots?
So
it's still made of this biological material, though. Like, it's confusing in that way. It's like, okay, it's not really a dinosaur; it's a biological material replica of a dinosaur that is alive.
But because like it somehow reproduces, correct? Because they find reveal, there's a scene where they go down to like the riverbank and they find broken eggs, and like they find what is essentially like T-Rex embryos just floating in the water.
In the water. You mean Jurassic Park?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
I guess we should have said earlier that these were bred to be barren beasts, that they were not supposed to have anything, these robot versions of them.
Yeah.
And so that's the big surprise, that how could they have babies?
Yeah, and so the T-Rex is a actual dinosaur, an actual living. That's why it's acting weird. That's why it's been protected by Sternius, and we learn that Sternius is also partial to Quines. Sternius is
Quine.
This book is better than Bumcider.
Mm-hmm.
And no comment.
Well, maybe if you didn't skim it, Tim.
I got the idea, but there were pages where I'm like, okay, we're getting through this as quick as possible.
Hey guys, who am I?
That is not what happened.
This
No, I
sucks.
would never do that, ever.
I want to read Redwall.
This is hard.
Look,
I'm
man,
reading
there were portions
This
of this
is
where I'm like,
hard.
there were portions of this where I'm like, I just want to get back to Redwall. I honestly do. The thing is, though, I can't read two novels at the same time. Like, my brain can't handle it. So I was like, I would set this down and pick up some Edgar Allan Poe or some other short stories and stuff. So I'm sorry, I couldn't commit. I couldn't commit all my attention to this.
Oh,
We go 100 pages without fighting any dinosaurs, Jake.
Bumcider throwbacks.
That's a throwback.
It is.
Vacuuming
Deep
Stiff's
cut.
Quines. Woo.
Oh, man.
Richard just go, what the? Are you guys talking?
I
Well,
don't
you know
care.
what? You know what? If I get double,
It's the
if
best
I get
Madison
double
ever.
vacuum duty, maybe I'll, meet some beautiful girl and then she'll dump me for the guy that she was already dating, even though she said she was totally into me. I hate that book so much. Why did we do that?
All right. So Tyrannosaurus Rexes are real. We learn that Sternius is actually, who has been this very strange, very lithe man, is actually a woman, and she was a former scientist in the initial studying of this creation of these robots, and all these are trying to create life. And what ends up happening, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, guys, but what ends up happening was the world governments and councils came and put a stop to it, saying, no, this is unethical. You can't create this life. And so Sternius, and I forget her real name. I forget it. They call her Sternius
or something like that.
Yeah, they continue to call her Sternius throughout the book, not her actual name. She changed her identity, disguised herself as a man, and worked on this island where she could work on these dinosaurs and creating this life and kind of continuing on this legacy in secret, using this giant, organization as a front for it. Okay. But the big twist, that was a big twist in the reveal, but that was kind of foreshadowed, like that she was actually a woman. That was foreshadowed early on. At least I thought it was.
Well, he keeps describing her as like pantherish and cat-like, and it has like these he keeps saying like almost effeminate features, and I'm like, okay, is this a woman in disguise? It's a woman in disguise. Okay.
So that's not a surprise. What is a surprise is the like you said, the dinosaur eggs, because we learn that the T-Rex are an actual dinosaur, but they break free, and then we see the eggs from it, and that's what's kind of wreaking havoc. That's what set Sternius on edge. That's why Sternius is so, freaked out about all this stuff getting out, and having a, for all intents and purposes, a reporter on this island. And life found a way. It is scene for scene Jurassic Park, life found a way when they discovered the dinosaur eggs.
You didn't say it right.
Well, didn't you say it right?
Life finds a way. The is very important.
That's
Very
amazing
cool.
acting
Yeah.
there, Tim.
Very Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
That's how he talks too in interviews.
It is. Yeah.
It's how he, yeah. I'm convinced it's not actually how he talks, but that's how he pretends like he talks. I'll show them all.
I'll show them all. Yeah.
Very much so. To a point that I'm like, and to be fair, I think Jurassic Park did come out in was it 90? The book
1990.
1990. The book.
Yeah.
And which I had a first edition. I had one and I sold it at a garage sale, like when I was like an idiot.
Wow.
I know, I'm so mad. They're called quines, Mark.
Yeah.
Quines.
Yeah, Mark. Come on.
I should get a bump cider.
Learn your bum cider lore.
So yeah, what did you guys think of the end reveal? And so then, we'll get into the end sequence. What did you guys think of the end reveals?
Well, so like we said, the fact that Sternius is a woman the whole time was a little bit telegraphed. So I wasn't too surprised by that. But also, like the really what's supposed to be the big shocking reveal is, oh my gosh, it's a real dinosaur and it's reproducing. I guess we'd go somewhere like that because, like all of us here, I've seen Jurassic Park. So, like, I know we keep coming back to that, even though this book came first, but it's like, if you've seen Jurassic Park and you read this book, that plot twist is in your brain.
Yeah.
And so when
Mile away.
when they find those eggshells down the river and the embryos floating in the water, it's like, yeah, that was kind of a given, even though I'm sure at the time, Robert Wells is typing away like, oh my gosh, this is the best plot twist I've ever come up with. I don't know. It kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah, it's very weird that a movie from 1993, I think it was, spoils the novel from 1969.
Yeah.
Messed up. Yeah. I knew I'd be alone in this. I loved the end sequence because it seemed like, because at that point it's like we knew that there was danger from Sternius, and she ends up, the robots are breathing. We know that there's danger from Sternius.
We need to get an actual drum fill just for Levi when he makes it.
That's a good idea. But so we know that there's danger from Sternius, and there's subterfuge, and Kit's convinced I'm gonna. Yes, we did already.
Times.
You're skimming this live stream, Liminal Spaces. You and Nick need to get together and do a video, and both of you just read a book that both of you just kind of read.
I didn't skim it.
Tim, sorry.
I read every page.
I read every page. Yeah.
That's
anyway.
Motto.
And so I thought the end sequence was great because now they're being hunted, like going through this swamp to get to this inlet, and because at this point the doctor dies, Nils Bodhi dies, and Kit and Fletcher are like, we've got to stop Sternius from something. We're the ones that are going to stop her. By the time we get picked up and rescued, we're going to be she's going to be long gone with the dinosaurs, with all the information. And so they've got to stop her. And so it's kind of this chase through this swamp that ends up taking a few days, but the whole time they're being also hunted by the T-Rex. And I thought that end sequence was great.
I agree.
I think it could have been really great. Here's the problem. That all takes place in the last 20 pages of this book.
Tim, that's not really unusual in these old books.
Yeah.
There's a lot of science fiction that I've read where it's like 150 pages of build up or talking about the characters or the science. And then all of a sudden there's 20 to 25 pages of action. So I think it might be just more indicative of the time and the writing that they did for their types of thrillers.
I'm thinking that's what it is, because I'm spoiled with, like, I don't know, like all the stuff I read is like, it's like uber, like high octane, explosions and robots and laser
I was wondering where
battles.
Uber came into this. I was picturing a car coming up.
He's just getting hungry.
But yeah, all the movies, all the stories now is right. It's just end-to-end action, basically. Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. And so, I don't know. When I saw this cover, I was like, okay, this is going to be like World War III with dinosaurs, but it's like,
no.
So
the reason you hated it so much was your expectation was so high.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. Maybe I just should have, like, if I'd known, like Richard said, it's more of like a old school thriller kind of story, maybe I should have set my, expectations accordingly. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just my expectations. I wanted something a little more punchy, a little more, like I said, high octane, high action, and yeah, it's much more of like a slow burn.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I agree with Tim here. By the time the dinosaurs happened, I was like, I don't even care anymore, man. Like, you missed that opportunity, and I would have even like they're big game hunters. It's pretty bad when the vegans complain that there wasn't enough hunting in the book. They killed 4 robots, like in one session, and that was it.
Yeah. And that's like 100 pages in.
It was like, this is get to it. Yeah, the I don't know. It had a lot of holes too.
There were a lot of holes. And here we can address one of them here. Sorry, guys. Is there a plot hole here? Why did the evil mastermind bring the crack shot hunters? The evil mastermind didn't. The evil mastermind was the. It wasn't evil. This is just a money making organization.
No, they did. Sternius picked those 2. That was, and that's what I wanted to talk about next.
Oh, yeah.
Why would Sternius pick those 2 expert shots? Wouldn't you want some buffoons on the island that weren't gonna like notice?
Now, Sternius didn't really own the island. It was undercover that she was doing this work.
Yeah.
But she did target those people to be recruited
on her crew.
Yeah.
The reason why what I kind of thought, or what I'm just now thinking, because that was a little strange. I think because Sternius was legitimately scared of the T-Rex as well. And so, and she knew that Kit, because she even said, I think she was telling the truth of like when she was talking about Kit Namoya being like a liability because the only thing she's shooting is film, which that was funny. It's the year 2173 and we're still using film in our cameras. But yeah, so like just having those 2 guns, because Sternius knew that there's a real dinosaur on this island that is really going to attack us, even if we don't engage it, you know. That's what I think. I could be wrong though.
That's a pretty good answer. I have another one for you though. See if you can answer this one. This is we're already spoiled. We're in spoiler segment. Okay.
Yeah.
So it turns out that Dr. Bodhi is really a spy.
Oh yeah.
So he just happens to get this spy of all these people just happens to get chose right where he needs to be. No.
Yeah.
Because he's the best shot.
But he's a spy. What are the odds that they're going to pick the spy?
James Bond at 120.
Yeah.
That one's a hole. That one's a big hole.
I was really disappointed that the Sun King thing went nowhere.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have a little bit of a Temple of Doom sequence, like another one, a bigger one.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't get why they should care to catch Sternius at the end. Like, oh no, they're going to create another dinosaur out there, but you guys are going to get out of the park and tell them what's going on. So they're just going to hunt Sternius down. Like, you don't got to catch him yourself.
Yeah. But they knew that they were the main characters. And they knew, hey, this story's wrapping up, so we have to move the plot along and make an action sequence at the end.
Another thing, they have the T-Rex swimming. I don't think that's possible.
They describe the forelimbs like a doggy paddle, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Those little legs are keeping that body up. I don't think
so. Dude, those arms look like they can doggy paddle.
Also, like I said, I don't know anything about dinosaurs, but I don't think any guns are taking that T-Rex down. None.
They're super strong future guns, though.
I don't know, man.
But they're not. He keeps referencing how he uses old guns from the previous 2 centuries. So it's like, yeah.
I understand how they could take down the robots. I was saying, I understand how they took down the robots because they created them in a way that they could be taken down.
And they told them where to shoot them.
T-Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Sturnius breed the dinosaurs so that they had those specific hit spot, like those weak points as well? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sturnius tries to escape with a box of goo, a box of ooze, which we assume is the dinosaur
Embryos.
dinosaur
DNA
embryos or
type
something.
stuff. Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
that or the Ninja Turtle ooze.
And then we finally get a dinosaur chomping on somebody
One.
at the very end.
And I think,
Yeah.
didn't our hero Fletcher shoot the goo out of the hands of Sturnius?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where
Right
his
shot.
marksmanship came into play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Snipes
Yeah.
the vat of embryos out of her hand. Yeah.
Into the water
Into the water.
to create more dinosaurs.
There you go. For the sequel that never happened.
Yep. Yeah, I thought it ended kind of abruptly because, like I said, we were just oh my gosh. Shut up. Like I said, I thought the pace got like ridiculously quick from that point on. Did anyone else think there should have been more than an ending? Because the way it ends is just what it's Kit and Fletcher hugging each other on the beach, you know, watching the sunset or whatever.
I was okay with it.
Yeah,
I was okay
I
with
didn't
it.
need more.
Yeah.
I was over it. I was just glad it was over.
Like I said, I kept picturing Chevy Chase, so you know.
What were you reading? All right, so let's rate it. Maybe with your guys' rating systems, what would you rate it?
I don't have a rating system.
I didn't either.
I have a 10 point rating system.
Yeah. What would you go ahead, Richard? Who cares what these two think?
Yeah. I would say, you know what, it's serviceable. I would give, and you know what, there were some fun times in there. So I would give it maybe a 6 out of 10, 6.5 at the most.
How about you two? Give it using Richard's rating system.
What did I don't do it on my channel. I do give all the books that I read a rating. Hold on. I give it a 1.5 out of 5.
1.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
So 3 out of 10.
I guess.
Is that right? Is that math?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
is that math? Well, look at Richard. Is that right?
Is that right, sir?
Is that right, smart man?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a note here that says, "Man, I can't wait for this to end." So I'm gonna go ahead and go with a 3 also
Out of 5.
out of 10. It's a 1.5 out of 5. Aren't you paying attention?
Jake's just fishing. So you kind of liked it, right, guys?
It's a 9 out of 30.
You only read 3/10 of the book, anyways.
Oh, shut up, Brian. Remember, you have to
All right,
be on our
Jake.
next episode.
I would give it a little better rating than that. I would probably give it more in the, like Richard, the 6.5 out of 10. I think. I think if there was no such thing as Jurassic Park, we would have a much higher score.
Yeah.
I think that taints it. I also think the fact that this is his first book, that's pretty impressive. Like, and there were some plot holes, but his writing is solid. It did have some glimpses of the bizarro brilliance / madness that he that's in Candle in the Sun, which is an infinitely better book, and you guys might not even like that at all either. But
I mean, it sounded a lot of fun. I'm gonna give it a shot eventually when I get all these Redwall books off of my TBR. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, I think it's not action packed like you want it to be, and like you think it would be at all. It definitely is slower, but I thought it came to a satisfying conclusion. I would recommend it. I would not recommend it for, Right-Handed Wilderness. I love that
Haven't read
cover.
it, but
That cover is creepy.
yeah. Kind of looks like it could be. What's that Event Horizon movie
Yes.
or something?
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think we were talking earlier, or maybe we weren't, but that's a two-parter. His last two books, that one and Spaceways, are a two-parter, I believe, or sequels. I'm not sure, but same characters that just carry over. All right, so yeah, everybody, that's the Parasaurians. I'd say buy it if you see it, even if you don't want to read it. Sell it on eBay because it's going for a lot right now.
Just remember, glue is not included.
Yeah, you're gonna have to glue it. Read it carefully. All right. So, anything else you guys want to talk about the Parasaurians before we move on?
Ankylosaurus is still best.
No, I think that's everything.
All right. You know, Mark, we announce what we're reading ahead of time. Jeez.
It's right here with Jake.
Get away.
What happened to his
Oh, God,
eyeballs?
Did you give me googly eyes?
Yeah, I took Liquefy and swelled them up.
yeah,
I figured I can do a little bit of Photoshop if you can.
I don't do any Photoshop. Everything's authentic.
okay.
All right, so maybe we'll start with what's going on. Those are the eyes of a man who drinks Pulch. I got to trademark Pulcher really quickly. All right, so let's talk about what you guys have going on your channel and what you're currently reading, because I like that. We did that last episode and I liked it. I can go first since I'm making you guys go first constantly. I just finished The Greatest Adventure, which is more dinosaurs.
I'm so excited for this review. I just want to talk to you right now about it.
I'm gonna need to read it quick so I can talk to you guys about it. Because I had Nick, you sent me a copy, didn't you?
Maybe.
I got a copy from one of you.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I found it twice.
Dinosaur Beach is way better. Way better. Yeah. And about the same amount of dinosaurs. Anyway, I just finished this. I haven't filmed. Maybe I did film the script. I can't remember if I filmed it or not, the script for it. But I have another video coming out this week. That's not coming out this week. I have another video coming out this week, which I was kind of inspired by your video, Richard, of showing people how to like clean and restore old books. So I did that, but maybe it looked maybe a little different, maybe my own flavor. So that's going to be coming out this week. And after that, I'm reading Assault on the Gods.
Who's that by?
This is by Stephen Golden, I believe. Yeah, Stephen Golden. Sorry, I didn't take it out of the bag, so it's kind of flashy. But I love that cover.
That is a great cover.
And I don't know anything about it, but this is one of the first books I got, so I'm going to look that one. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. How about you, Nick? What do you got coming on?
I just posted the review of Six Gun Samurai today.
It was good.
So go check that out.
I was just listening to some, what was it, Jelly Roll Rockheads before I got on stream.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
band.
Put some Japanese punk in there.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
There are a few things I like worse than punk music.
Wow.
I'm just gonna say.
Well, once again, Jake, you're allowed to have your own opinion.
That's the point, but I don't like that point.
It's cool. You're square. It's not a surprise.
You're not wrong.
I am also reading this book that Jake sent me, The Moonshine War.
Did I send you that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
think it was in the pre-haul.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, that's why I don't remember it because I didn't buy it.
So it's like a prohibition crime book thriller. I don't know. I just started it. And then The Gang Girl here. This is Robert Silverberg writing Juvenile Delinquent Sleaze. I'm supposed to do a video of this with Chris at Speculative Reader.
Here, there we go.
Oh,
now we can see what we're actually doing.
There you go. Robert Silverberg is Don Elliott.
Wait, so is it 2 books, Gang Girl and Sex Bum, or
Yeah, it's a reprint from Stark
Okay.
House.
There's no way you're getting monetized for that title.
Maybe. I
They
don't
spelled bum cider wrong.
Oh,
And then after that, the next episode is
Oh yes.
yeah.
Burial Rites here by Michael Scott,
I have
Oh,
the
and-
ebook copy, so I can't hold up mine.
and then that's with Brian, Bad Taste Brian, and Sam from Night Nerves is going to be our guest.
Yeah.
And you can read it for free, I believe, online, right? Did you say that, Jake?
I don't know about that.
I thought somebody found it online. What's the other name for it? Ice Man?
The Ice King.
Ice King, yes.
Ice King is the ebook version that I
From
have.
The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be bonkers.
I'm going to be imagining it as Michael Scott from The Office.
That's all I got. Get me off screen.
Oh gosh, is it my turn? Well, hold on, let me get it up here.
At least he
Yeah,
has
about
pants on.
Whatever. I'm about halfway through Death Angel's Shadow by Karl Edward Wagner, which is awesome because this book is pretty rare for fantasy from like the 70s and 80s and stuff. Michael K. Vaughan sent me this copy, so that was awesome of him. This is exactly what I needed after reading the Parasaurians. So it's so good. It's so violent, but it's so good. It is some fantastic, really gloomy, broody, just like gothic sword and sorcery. I'm loving every single bit of it. So I'm going to be doing a review of that as soon as I finish it, which might be like Monday, Tuesday. And then after that, I have to read that book Starfighters, which Ira sent me, which is like a Star Wars ripoff from the 1970s. That's going to be interesting. And then, I'll get right back to Redwall after that. So that's what I've got going on.
All right. I'm coming up on my second anniversary of doing a YouTube channel on April 17th. So I've got a couple ideas that I'm going to be doing there. Probably just look through the last year and just talk about some of the better books that I read through the last year, but also first ever library tour is one of the plans I have for that. But coming up on Monday, I'm still working on it. I'm reading, this is a non-fiction book, Science Fiction, What It's All About by Sam J. Lundwall. He's a person from Sweden, and so it's an interesting outsider look basically at American and British science fiction. And I'm actually going to just take one chapter from here and take a look at that for Monday. And Thursday, Bart from Bart's Book Space, I think that's the name of his channel.
Yeah.
He and I are looking at Fiasco by Stanislav Lem, a very challenging and very good read. And so I'm looking forward to my talk with him because he and Stanislav Lem both come from Poland. And so he has a unique take on some of the things that they're talking about. And he's a big fan of Lem.
I've heard a lot about that author. I've just never read any of his stuff. So,
All right, that all sounds fun. I have another announcement, but I'll save it for later. I've been talking a lot.
Later.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm done.
Well, I know, but I don't know, at a different date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is a teaser.
This is a teaser. I will have another announcement in the future.
Jake Swick will return.
You can't do that. Like anybody cares. All right. Hey, this was a lot of fun. Sorry it wasn't better. It's a book about somebody shooting dinosaurs. It should have been good.
Okay, to be fair, I'm glad I read it because there is...
Liar.
I'm glad I read it. This wasn't Death World levels of bad, okay? I'm not saying that. It wasn't even... it might be worse than Bump Cider. But...
No.
Get out of here!
No.
Bum Cider, you could barely stay awake reading that.
Yeah, it was so boring.
Bum Cider was much. It was worse. Like the writing style was much worse, and also that was pretty much like a first draft. We're pretty sure. So
I love how every book that E.E.B.S rates is according to Bum Cider.
it is the albatross around our necks. We will never be rid of Bum Cider.
Oh. Anyway, yeah. Read Burial Rights. Oh, when is that? Did you say when that is?
Oh, I did. Why would I? It's April 19th. It's on a Saturday. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time again. Same time, just April 19th.
Awesome.
April 19th. Pick up your Burial Rights
That's
or your because we're going to really rely on you guys in the chat because Tim's not going to read it.
He'll read half
never
of it.
said anything.
You guys have been accelerating your video timetable, haven't you? I'm starting to expect this almost every week now.
No, actually, this one was a big gap.
It was a big gap.
It was like 2 weeks, right?
It was 3.
It was 3? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we try. We do. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard work.
Whenever we can. A lot of it too is the guests. They're not all as accommodating as you. Some of them are like, well, some of them just don't ever email back.
Some people have jobs.
Some people are like, I'm not going on that.
I know. I was taking a risk.
You're taking a risk. Well, I hope you aren't too sullied. Your reputation isn't too sullied. I hope you're all right. But no, thanks again, Richard, for joining us.
Yes.
You're the man. You're awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoy you guys.
Well, we enjoy you, Richard.
We enjoy you, Richard. We need more egg pun videos. We need more pun cartoons. I haven't forgotten.
I think you were about the only one who saw those.
No, we saw him. He sent them to us.
I sent them to both these two, and I was like, "What the f is this?"
As soon as that video dropped, he texted us. He's like, "Guys, look at what Richard's doing over at Vintage SF." We're like, "What?"
Check it out, everybody. Richard's got a video about eggs. That's anyway. You're the man. Hey, thanks everybody. We'll see you all next time. Bye.